become your masters of war. You're that build all the guns, you that build the death planes, you that build all the bombs, you that hide behind walls, you that hide behind desks. We just want you to know we can see through your masks. You that never done nothing but build to destroy. Oh, you play with our world like it's your little toy. You put a gun in my head and you hide from my eyes, and you turn and run farther when the fast bullets fly. Like Judas of old, you lie and deceive. A world war can be won. You want me to believe, but I see through your eyes, and I see through your brain, like I see through the water that runs down my drain. You that fasten all the triggers for the others to buy, and you sit back and watch while the death toll gets high. You're hiding your mission while young people's blood flows out of their bodies and is buried in the mud. You've thrown the worst fear that could ever be heard, the fear of being children into this world, or threatening my baby, unborn and unnamed. You ain't worth the blood that runs through your veins. How much do we know to talk out of turn? You might say that we're young, you might say we're unlearned, but there's one thing I know, though I'm younger than you, even Jesus would never forget what you do. Let me ask you one question. Is your money that good? Will it buy you forgiveness? Do you think that it would? Oh, I think where you'll find when your death takes its toll. All the money you made will never buy back your soul. And I hope that you die, and your death will come soon. I'll stand on your road in the pale afternoon, and I'll watch while you're lowered into your deathbed. over your grave till I'm sure that you're dead.
Bottom line, in my professional opinion, based on my years of experience, my study of airline accidents and incidents, it's my opinion that a Boeing 757 did not hit the Pentagon. There would be an abundance of wreckage, and that the official sources have not been able to produce the evidence of any wreckage. Large tail sections, indestructible landing gear, indestructible engines, wing spars, fuselage, seats, anything of the sort indicates to me that a 757 did not hit the Pentagon.
In relation to the Pentagon, it's quite obvious that no Boeing 757 hit the building. There are multiple lines of reasoning that support that conclusion, including, for example, the complete lack of massive debris of the kinds and character that would be expected from a 100-ton airliner with a 125-foot wingspan and a tail that stands 44 feet above the ground. The hit point was only about 10 feet high and 16 or 17 feet wide on the ground floor. You find unbroken windows, undamaged fence, a couple of automobiles. What you don't find is massive piles of aluminum debris. You don't find the wings, you don't find the seats, the bodies, the luggage, the tail. Not even the engines were recovered, indicating that no Boeing 757 hit the building.
You've got a hole that's no more than 10 foot high and about maybe 15 to 20 feet wide that we're expected to believe a multi-tonned 757 jetliner with a wingspan of 125 feet and a tail height of 44 feet, that's 4 stories, folks, somehow managed to squeeze through this one little bitty hole in the ground floor of the Pentagon.
Before the outer wall collapsed, which was about 45 minutes after initial impact, there was only one hole, about 14 to 16 feet. And supposedly the 757 completely penetrated this hole without leaving any indication of where the wings would have penetrated. Adjacent to this hole, the windows were completely intact, and you can tell by the firefighters' foam that was sprayed around the hole and sticking to the windows. The windows are completely intact, both adjacent where the wings should have penetrated and knocked the windows out, and also directly above the hole where the elevated tail section would have penetrated. You know, the windows are completely intact.
I measured pieces of Soviet equipment from photographs. It was my job. And I look at the size of an airplane that was supposed to have hit the Pentagon, and I said, the plane does not fit in that hole. So what did hit the Pentagon? What hit it? What's going on?
I know from my experience that it would have been highly improbable that even a seasoned American test pilot, a military test pilot, could have flown a T-category aircraft like the 757 into the first floor of the Pentagon because of a thing called ground effect.
The official trajectory has this plane just skimming the ground at about 500 miles an hour as it impacts with the building on the ground floor. That turns out to be aerodynamically impossible. Even a small plane, such as a Cessna at full throttle, would accumulate a packet of compressed gas, which is there beneath the fuselage, that would make it impossible for it to get closer than 15 feet to the ground. Discussions with aeronautical engineers have convinced me that for a Boeing 757 at 500 miles an hour, it could not get closer than 60 feet to the ground. If the plane had been taking the official trajectory, its engines would have been making massive damage to the lawn. Wake turbulence would have been wrecking it. The lawn would have been a mess. Instead, the lawn is perfectly smooth, green and smooth, which turns out to be, ironically, a smoking gun at the Pentagon.
Ground effect and the pristine condition of the lawn in front of the Pentagon aren't the only problems with the official story. The airline pilots that we talked with also have a very serious problem as to whether or not terrorists that were trained on small aircraft were even capable of maneuvering a large commercial airliner at such a high speed and making these very precise maneuvers.
I flew the two actual aircraft which were involved in 9/11, the flight number 175 and flight 93, the 757 that allegedly went down at Shanksville, and flight 175 is the aircraft that's alleged to have hit the South Tower. I don't believe it's possible for, like I said, for a terrorist, a so-called terrorist, to train on a 172 and then jump in the cockpit of a 757, 767 glass cockpit. I couldn't do it, and I'm absolutely positive they couldn't do it.
You know what? It's not obscene to show you what war really is. It's obscene to glamorize it like a John Wayne movie and not be honest. And so we're going to show you this video here. I know a lot of families watch the show every night. If you do have children with you, you might want to have them turn away. Or perhaps you should have them watch it so that when an Army recruiter comes to try to get them to be involved in war, they understand the truth. Look, if you're actually being attacked, you'll know it's a righteous war, and then it's got to happen. But these drones killing up to 200 people at a pop, and the Pentagon says it's worth it to kill 200 people if you kill one bad guy who they say is a bad guy. No judge, no jury. This is dehumanizing everybody. It's one thing to have war when somebody assaults you, and it's right there face to face. But this whole system of cowardly drones expanding, which they now say is going to be used against the American people, is incredible. So here's your Peace Prize winner. There he is, right there with the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the recipe for success. You have a foreign proxy army, Al-Qaeda in this case, come in. They start shooting police, blowing buildings up. The government fights back. And then you just bomb the entire infrastructure out, killing at least 40,000 people, bombing apartment buildings, you name it. And then you call it freedom and liberty because the Peace Prize guy's doing it. And then the very same global bankers that did all this come in and take control of the country and put them all in debt to rebuild the nation. So let's go to the clip.
I think it's obviously sends a strong message around the world to dictators that they need to respect the human rights and the universal aspirations of people. We introduced the resolution in the United Nations that allowed us to protect civilians in Libya when Gaddafi was threatening to slaughter them. It was our folks in NATO who were helping to coordinate the NATO operation there. And the difference here is we were able to organize the international community. We were able to get the UN mandate for the operation. We were able to get Arab countries involved. And so there was never this sense that somehow we were unilaterally making a decision to take out somebody. Rather, it was the world community, and that's part of the reason why this whole thing only cost us $1 billion as opposed to $1 trillion. Not a single U.S. troop was on the ground. Not a single U.S. Troop was killed or injured. And that, I think, is a recipe for success.
By the way, I've talked to the military people at these centers where they bring the dead bodies in. More than 50 U.S. troops were killed. You're just going to hear about them dying in car wrecks or plane crashes. So that's a lie, and it's admitted that U.S. forces with NATO forces were on the ground. So just more lies from this piece of trash, this murdering piece of garbage, this Hitler wannabe, this puppet minion piece of trash, Barack the mass murderer, the butcher of Libya, and Mr. Torture that all you mainline liberal scumbags love so much. Let's go to the little kid. Here we go.
I am both surprised and deeply humbled by the decision of the Nobel Committee. The Nobel Peace Prize has not just been used to honor specific achievement, it's also been used as a means to give momentum to a set of causes. And that is why I will accept this award as a call to action, a call for all nations to confront the common challenges of the 21st century.
War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. Well, there's your John Wayne for you. That's modern warfare, not men out on a field lining up with their swords and hacking each other up, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's men. It's unchivalrous, it's illegal, it's trash, it's pure wickedness. And that's what bombing cities is. That's what it is. And I heard that swollen, demonic, heroin head blob, Rush Limbaugh, earlier this year, say, hey, we're a wimp nation now. War is about bombing cities and killing everybody. Why? Because Hitler taught us that? He bombed cities? And so then we bombed them 10 times as bad, dropped atomic bombs on people? You know, the Japanese at Pearl Harbor, they attacked military targets. I'm not saying that was good, but it was damn military targets and men that signed up to have their jaws blown off, not little kids like that. And all these crimes are going to be brought back on America tenfold. Don't you ever think we're going to escape our karma or the fact that we reap what we sow, what comes around goes around. Man, I am God-fearing. Let me tell you, when you look at the million-plus dead Iraqis, the biggest percentage children, that's nothing. I could show you a charnel house, hours of kids, and then, but nobody gets upset about that. But when the Marines grab a puppy and rip its head off or throw it off a cliff, everybody gets mad. Because that's a dog. See, humans have been dehumanized. Everybody gets upset about a dog, but the globalists are trying to take that video down everywhere. They can show you violence all over YouTube all day long. But they can show you American citizens jumping out of buildings that are burning. But they will not show you stuff like that because they want you to romanticize these. You watch that kid's just been drug in there quickly and they hold him down and get his pulse. And the word is that kid died. Of course, the entire jaw blown away. And you can see him, and then, you know, starting to, going out. And hey, that's the bad guy. We're fighting Al-Qaeda, but they put Al-Qaeda in and gave them the missile systems now so they can now menace the United States. We're run by psychic vampires. We're run by scum. And the America we're all told is so great and good, it wouldn't do anything like this. But, again, the liberals love it because it's a black guy doing it. And, you know, he told Congress, when Congress said don't do this war, he said go to hell, I got the UN. And the liberals kind of went, woo, we're bringing down America. Woo, this is fun. And all these neocon warmongers are praising it. All of them are effeminate men who never went to war. That's what's so weird about this. It's all that blob, that sack of pus, Hillary Clinton, all these murdering, limp-wristed trash. And all these effeminate men who've never been in combat or never been in a war, never did anything, who get off on the power of it. They are the anathema trash. You want to know why I do what I do? Because I realize these are a bunch of child-murdering garbage. I mean, hell, they got the TSA groping your daughters and sons and getting off on hiring every pedophile they can. This is evil. This is Hitler. But it doesn't look like Hitler because people think a black guy can't be Hitler. See, you always think of the last tyranny as the way it looked before. Tyranny can come in any shape or color. This is what's in the soul. But this is just a ringwraith minion person. The point is, he's their front guy, Nobel Peace Prize. Well, you let that image of that little child with their lower mandible and their throat completely blown out. Hours of excruciating pain before the child bled out. You just remember that.